A woman's true beauty does not fade with time. It only changes its form. Youth shines brightly, but wisdom glows more steadily. The glow of an older woman is not in how many people notice her, but in how deeply her presence touches those around her. A woman's true beauty does not fade with the passing of years. What fades is only the surface brightness of youth, the outer glow that time naturally softens. But beneath the surface, something deeper begins to emerge, something more enduring, something that no mirror can capture fully. This is the kind of beauty that does not shout, does not try, and does not beg for attention. It simply exists quietly, like the fragrance of a flower carried by the wind. One does not need to see the flower to know it is there, because the fragrance itself is enough to touch the senses. This fragrance is the essence of a woman who carries herself with confidence that is not loud, with movement that is not forced, and with eyes that reveal the stillness of her soul. The first sign of such beauty is not what the world usually speaks of. It is not about skin, not about hair, not about shapes that change with time. It is about the kind of confidence that does not depend on whether someone compliments you or ignores you. Quiet confidence. This is the kind of strength that grows from within, from years of living, from lessons learned, from battles fought and survived. Confidence that no longer needs to prove anything. When you are young, you often feel the need to be noticed, to be validated, to be chosen. As the years pass, you begin to realize that your worth is not dependent on who notices you, but on how much you notice yourself, how deeply you value your own presence. This shift is profound. Consider the moment when a woman enters a room. Some enter with noise, seeking to occupy space with words or gestures, hoping others will turn and acknowledge them. Others enter quietly, and yet the room naturally adjusts, as if something steady has arrived. This is quiet confidence. It does not pull, it does not push. It simply is. People sense it the way they sense balance in nature. The mountains do not shout their strength, and yet no one doubts their power. In the same way, a woman who has learned to rest in herself does not need to prove anything to anyone. I remember once traveling by train, seated across from an older woman who did not speak much. She carried a small bag, wore no bright colors, and yet there was something unshakable about her. People walked by, and several glanced at her twice, not because she was trying to be noticed, but because her presence was steady, like a stone in a flowing river. She sat with such calmness, such ease, that her stillness itself seemed to shine. That is quiet confidence. How do we cultivate such presence? It begins in small ways. When you wake in the morning, before the rush of the day begins, sit for a moment with yourself. Take one slow breath. Do not grab the phone. Do not rush into tasks. Just one breath that belongs only to you. In this breath, you remind yourself, I am enough before the world sees me. That breath plants the seed of confidence for the day. You carry it with you, and people around you feel it. This kind of beauty touches relationships in deep ways. A partner feels safe with a woman who does not depend on constant reassurance, who is not shaken by every small word or action. Friends feel uplifted by a woman whose calm presence reminds them of their own worth. Even strangers notice. Because confidence is not hidden, it radiates subtly. Ask yourself, when I walk into a room, do I need to be noticed? Or do I carry the kind of energy that needs no validation? This is the question that turns outer beauty into inner radiance. And when confidence is quiet, it does not become arrogance. Arrogance is loud, it pushes others away, it competes. True confidence is soft, it draws others closer. It allows space for others to shine too. Just as a candle loses nothing by lighting another flame, a confident woman knows she loses nothing by uplifting someone else. This generosity is part of her beauty. From this stillness of confidence, the way a woman moves begins to change as well. Movement is the second expression of beauty that time cannot steal. Grace in movement. Every gesture tells a story about the state of your energy. When movements are hurried, sharp, or restless, the body shows the turbulence of the mind. But when movements are slow, intentional, balanced, they reveal harmony inside. Think of someone pouring tea. One person does it quickly, spilling drops, placing the cup down with little care. Another moves slowly, the hand steady, the cup set down gently. The act is the same, but the energy is different. The second person's movements create calm for everyone watching. Beauty is not in the perfection of the act, but in the intention and awareness behind it. A woman who moves gracefully tells the world that her energy is not scattered, that she is present. This makes her beautiful in a way no fashion trend can replace. I once observed an older woman in a crowded market. She was simply buying vegetables, yet the way she moved stood out. While others rushed, bumped into each other, and spoke loudly, she moved slowly, selecting each item with care, smiling gently at the vendor. Even her walk, though ordinary, seemed to flow. People turned to look at her. Though she wore nothing remarkable, what they noticed was her grace. Her presence brought balance to a noisy place. That is the power of movement guided by inner awareness. How can you practice this in daily life? Begin by choosing 3 ordinary actions and slowing them down. For example, when you open a door, instead of rushing, feel the weight of the handle, notice the motion. When you sit down, lower yourself with intention. When you pick up a cup, hold it as if it were precious. These small practices bring your body and mind together. Over time, your movements gain a natural elegance that others will notice without knowing why. Grace in movement also brings harmony to relationships. A partner feels comfort when a woman touches them with gentleness instead of haste. Children feel safe when a mother moves with calmness instead of restlessness. Even friends sense peace when a woman's gestures carry care. Energy flows through every small action. A hand placed calmly on someone's shoulder can heal more than many words. This is beauty expressed not in looks, but in the way life flows through you. Ask yourself, how do I move through the world? Do I rush? Do I stumble? Do I collide with others in my hurry? Or do I bring calmness with each step? Movement reveals what the mind hides. By slowing down, by aligning the body with awareness, you create beauty that is ageless. From confidence and movement, the third layer of beauty emerges, the depth of the eyes. The eyes reveal what words cannot. They are the mirrors of the inner world. If the mind is restless, the gaze flickers. If the heart is heavy, the eyes grow dull. But if the mind is clear, the eyes become steady, calm, and luminous. A woman whose eyes carry depth touches others without speaking. I remember a disciple once telling me that in silence, he learned more from watching my eyes than from listening to my words. He said the eyes carried a steadiness that reassured him. This is not about power or control, but about clarity. When your inner world is not clouded by constant judgment, worry, or comparison, your eyes begin to shine naturally. They reveal truth. People feel seen, truly seen, when you look at them without distraction. This is rare in today's world, where most eyes are attached to screens, where attention is scattered in 1,000 directions. A woman with depth in her eyes does not need to speak much. Her presence communicates. Children especially notice this. A child will trust the eyes that are calm and patient. In relationships, the eyes often speak before words do. A partner feels either welcome or rejected in the gaze of the other. Eyes can soften conflicts. They can heal wounds. They can give reassurance when words fail. This is why the depth of a woman's eyes becomes one of her most powerful and beautiful qualities as she grows older. How to cultivate this? Practice being fully present when looking at someone. Put aside the need to prepare what to say next. Simply listen with your eyes. Notice the colors, the shapes, the expressions without judgment. Allow your gaze to rest. When you do this, people will feel it immediately. They will feel valued, respected, even loved. Beauty shines in the quality of attention you give. The eyes also reflect how you see yourself. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you search for flaws, for lines, for signs of age? Or can you see beyond them into the strength and experiences that shaped you? The eyes that look at themselves with kindness will naturally look at others with compassion too. The practice here is simple but profound. Each morning, when you see your reflection, soften your gaze. Instead of criticizing, offer a silent acknowledgement. I see myself. I honor myself. This small change transforms how your eyes appear to others as well. Consider this. Have you ever met someone whose face was ordinary, but whose eyes drew you in, made you want to stay longer in their presence? That is depth. It is not created by cosmetics, but by clarity of spirit. And clarity of spirit comes from letting go of unnecessary weight, forgiving what is past, and choosing to live in the present. Together, these three qualities, quiet confidence, graceful movement, and depth of eyes, weave a kind of beauty that is timeless. They are not separate, but connected. Confidence creates calm presence, which shapes movement. Movement guided by awareness reflects harmony, which is seen in the eyes. The eyes reveal the inner stillness, which in turn deepens confidence. It is a circle of energy, each part strengthening the other. So when someone asks, what makes an older woman good looking, even when she does not think so herself, the answer is simple but not superficial. It is not the youth that remains, but the qualities that grow, the fragrance of confidence, the poetry of movement, the honesty of the eyes. These are the signs that beauty is alive, not fading. Pause and reflect. Do you recognize these qualities in yourself? Do you notice them in women around you, perhaps in your mother, your sister, a friend, or even a stranger you once saw on the street? If you can recognize them, you already know that true beauty is not limited by age. It is a presence, a way of being. It is the stillness within the storm, the grace within the ordinary, the depth within the gaze. There comes a time in life when beauty is not measured by how many people look at you, but by how many people respect the way you carry yourself. This respect is not demanded. It is not bought. It cannot be forced. It is earned quietly through the way you hold your dignity, through the steadiness of your energy, and through the warmth you allow others to feel in your presence. These are qualities that deepen as the years pass. They are not gifts of youth. They are gifts of experience, of lessons learned, of battles fought and overcome. They create a kind of beauty that is remembered long after the image fades. There is a story of a mountain village where storms often came suddenly, shaking the trees, flooding the paths, and frightening the children. In that village stood a great stone pillar, weathered by time, but unmoved by storms. Whenever the sky grew dark and the winds howled, the villagers would look toward that pillar. It never moved, it never bent, it never cracked. For the people, that pillar became a symbol of safety, a reminder that even when everything else was shaking, something strong remained. That pillar is what a woman becomes when she has unshakable dignity. Dignity is not pride, and it is not stubbornness. It is the quiet strength of refusing to lose yourself no matter what happens around you. It shows in how you respond to difficulty, to insult, to betrayal. Some people collapse at the first harsh word. Others burn with anger and retaliate. But the one who holds dignity does not collapse and does not lash out. She breathes, she pauses, she stands in her own center. That calmness is her beauty. I once met a woman in her 60s who had gone through much pain in her life. She had lost people she loved. She had been treated unfairly, and yet when she spoke, her voice was steady and her words gentle. She told me, "I have learned that when I react with anger, I lose twice. First, I am hurt by others, then I hurt myself by losing my peace." Her dignity made her beautiful in a way that no youthfulness could compete with. She was not broken by life, she was refined by it. How can this be cultivated? Begin by practicing patience in the smallest situations. The next time someone cuts in front of you in traffic or interrupts you while speaking, take 3 breaths before you respond. Notice how this pause gives you back your power. It may seem small, but it is training. Just as a martial artist trains the body through repetition, dignity is trained through these daily moments. Over time, people begin to notice that you are not easily shaken. They trust you more. They respect you more. They sense that you carry yourself with strength that does not need to be proven. And this dignity is not only for yourself. It blesses those around you. Children who grow up with a mother or grandmother who holds her dignity learn what it means to stand strong without aggression. Partners feel safer when they know you will not collapse into chaos at every conflict. Friends lean on you because your steadiness becomes a refuge. That is why this kind of beauty touches everyone. It is not about looking young. It is about giving strength through your presence. From dignity flows another quality, the balance of energy. In Taoist philosophy, life is a dance between opposites, yin and yang, stillness and motion, strength and softness. When energy is too much in one direction, harmony is lost. A woman who learns to balance her energy becomes deeply attractive because she feels complete within herself. She is not too loud, not too withdrawn, not too giving, not too withholding. Her energy is centered, like water flowing smoothly in a riverbed. I remember being in a hall where many people were gathered, each trying to speak, to be noticed, to push their energy outward. And yet in the corner sat an older woman who said little, who only smiled gently. But whenever she did speak, the entire hall grew quiet. Her words carried weight because her energy was not scattered. She did not spend it on noise or on proving herself. It was concentrated, balanced. That is why when she finally gave it, everyone listened. We often do not notice how much energy leaks from us. Worry takes energy. Overthinking takes energy. Complaining takes energy. By the end of the day, we feel exhausted, not because life demanded too much, but because we poured our energy into wasteful channels. A woman who learns to pull her energy back, to concentrate it, becomes powerful. She does not waste herself on every opinion or every fear. She learns to conserve, and in doing so, she shines. How do you practice this? Several times a day, stop and ask yourself, where is my energy right now? Is it lost in worries about tomorrow? Is it consumed by replaying the past? Bring it back. Take one breath and feel it return to your body. With practice, you will notice that you stop giving energy away so easily. This creates balance. People around you sense it. They feel that you are not scattered, not drained, but alive and steady. That is beauty. Balanced energy transforms relationships. When you are too giving, people may take advantage of you. When you withhold too much, people feel distant. Balance creates harmony. It allows you to love without losing yourself, to give without being drained, to receive without guilt. This balance is not static. It is a living rhythm. Sometimes you will lean more toward giving, sometimes toward receiving. The wisdom lies in knowing when to adjust. Like a dancer who feels the rhythm of the music, a woman who feels the rhythm of her own energy becomes graceful in life. Consider this: a flame that burns too wildly consumes itself quickly. A flame too weak gives no light. But a steady flame warms, guides, and lasts long. In the same way, Your energy, when balanced, makes your presence nourishing. People are drawn to you not because you demand attention, but because you radiate steadiness. From this balance arises a third quality of beauty, perhaps the most touching of all: compassion. A compassionate aura makes a woman unforgettable. Kindness softens every feature. It turns wrinkles into stories. It turns eyes into gentle lights. It turns the simplest face into something that feels like home. People may forget the details of how you looked, but they never forget how they felt in your presence. And compassion makes people feel safe, valued, and loved. I recall traveling in a foreign country where I did not know the language. I was tired, hungry, and lost. An older woman approached me, smiled, and though she could not speak my language, she guided me to a small tea house, ordered something for me, and made sure I was comfortable. Her compassion required no words. That simple act made me feel at home in a place where everything was unfamiliar. When I think back, I no longer remember her exact features, but I remember the warmth. That was her beauty. Compassion does not mean allowing others to walk over you. It does not mean giving endlessly until you collapse. True compassion flows from strength, not weakness. It comes from a heart that is full, not empty. When you are at peace with yourself, your kindness has no hidden agenda. You give not because you want recognition, but because giving itself brings joy. This kind of compassion cannot be faked, and it cannot be ignored. It changes the energy of every room you enter. In relationships, compassion is the bridge that keeps hearts connected. Arguments soften when compassion is present. A partner feels cherished when compassion guides your words. Children grow resilient when compassion shapes their upbringing. Friends trust more deeply when compassion colors your actions. Even strangers feel it when you treat them with simple humanity. That is why compassion is a sign of deep beauty. It is beauty that flows outward and blesses others. How can you cultivate it? Begin with small, consistent actions. Today, choose one act of kindness for someone without expecting anything back. Offer a listening ear without giving advice. Smile at a stranger. Send a message of appreciation. These acts may seem small, but they build the habit of compassion. Over time, your very presence begins to radiate it. People feel at ease with you, not judged, not pressured. They feel safe. That safety is beauty. Compassion also transforms how you see yourself. Many women grow harsher toward themselves as they age, focusing only on flaws, regretting choices, comparing with younger versions of themselves. But compassion toward yourself softens this harshness. When you look at yourself with gentle eyes, with patience, you begin to see your own beauty again. That compassion reflects outward, because the way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. A compassionate woman is beautiful not only to others, but to herself. These three qualities, dignity, balance, and compassion, are inseparable. They form a triangle of beauty that is unshakable. Dignity keeps you strong, balance keeps you steady, and compassion keeps you warm. Together, they create a presence that is more powerful than youth. They create a beauty that people remember not with their eyes, but with their hearts. When you walk into a room without a single word spoken, people can already sense something about you. Not from your clothes, not from your jewelry, not even from the way you style your hair, but from the presence that emanates from within. This presence is subtle yet undeniable. It is the kind of energy that speaks louder than words, telling others who you are, what you carry, and what you will or will not allow in your life. This kind of aura is not something you can buy, and it is not something that can be borrowed. It is something cultivated, forged through time, experience, and the choices you make each day. What people perceive as mystique or power is not a trick. It is the sum of discipline, self-awareness, and authenticity woven together in the way you carry yourself. Every individual gives off a kind of invisible language, and the ones who stand out without trying are those who have mastered the art of stillness within themselves. When a person is at war internally, others feel it. It seeps out in their tone of voice, in the restless shifting of their eyes, in the way they constantly search for validation. But when someone has anchored themselves to a foundation of inner peace, there is no need to demand attention. It comes naturally. Silence begins to speak for them. Their presence fills space without crowding it, because they do not rush, they do not grasp, and they do not compete. They simply are. And that is what draws others in, the realization that this person needs nothing from them, yet offers something rare, the assurance of groundedness. The way you communicate without words is just as significant as the language you speak aloud. It is found in your posture, in the rhythm of your movements, in the subtle pauses you allow before responding. It is not stiffness or artificial grace, but rather a natural flow born from self-control. Many people move too quickly through life, reacting to every little thing, rushing their speech, gesturing wildly to fill empty air. But those who have cultivated presence know the power of restraint. They understand that slowing down their movements does not make them weaker. It makes them more deliberate. Like a dancer who has learned that every step, every turn carries weight, they move with intention. The world responds differently to those who are not rushed. People listen more closely to someone who does not hurry their words, because it conveys certainty. People take note of someone who does not flinch at silence, because it conveys confidence. And then there are the eyes. It is said that the eyes are the window to the soul, but few truly understand what that means. Most people look but do not see. They glance quickly, seeking information or approval, but their eyes reveal their restlessness. A person with depth in their eyes does not need to stare or intimidate. Their gaze holds steadiness. When you look into such eyes, you feel that this person has lived, has experienced both pain and joy, and has absorbed the lessons of life without bitterness. Depth in the eyes cannot be faked. It comes from presence, from observation, from refusing to skim over life's moments. Someone who has taken time to reflect on their experiences, rather than rushing past them, develops a gaze that lingers. It makes others pause, sometimes even feel exposed, because it is not the kind of look that seeks to take. It is the kind that sees through. This kind of presence is magnetic. It is what makes people remember you long after you have left the room. They may not recall your exact words, but they will recall how your energy made them feel. Steady, safe, or perhaps challenged in ways they could not articulate. And the most intriguing part of it all is that those who carry such presence do not try to display it. They are not striving to impress. They are simply aligned with themselves, and alignment is always more powerful than performance. When the inside matches the outside, when intention matches action, when values align with choices, that is when presence becomes undeniable. To cultivate this kind of aura requires a letting go of the need to constantly explain yourself, letting go of the compulsion to be liked by everyone, letting go of the endless comparison that strips you of your individuality. When you are constantly seeking, chasing, and grasping for attention, your energy leaks. But when you allow yourself to exist fully in who you are, your energy consolidates. It becomes whole, and wholeness always radiates more strongly than fragmentation. This is why some people enter a room quietly, and everyone turns to notice, while others make noise, yet fade quickly into the background. It is not about volume, it is about integrity of presence. What others sense is not always in your words, but in your pauses, your silences, your ability to listen deeply. When someone is speaking and you are not rushing to interrupt, when you are fully there without distraction, they feel seen. Presence is not just about how you are perceived when standing alone, but also how you make others feel when you are with them. A strong aura makes others feel their own importance reflected back at them. Not because you are flattering them, but because you are giving them the gift of undivided attention. That is rare in a world where most people listen only to reply, not to understand. Presence also requires courage. Courage to be misunderstood. Courage to not always explain yourself. Courage to carry your truth even when it makes others uncomfortable. When you live this way, your energy becomes unmistakable. You no longer blend into the noise because you are not playing the same game. People sense when someone is at peace with themselves because peace is foreign in a world addicted to chaos. And the more peace you cultivate, the stronger your presence becomes. You do not need to force it. You do not need to mimic others or copy their behaviors. True power is never in imitation. It comes from authenticity refined by discipline. Spend time in silence. Observe yourself. Notice your reactions and learn to calm them. Stand tall, not to look taller than others, but to allow your body to align with your spirit. Move slowly, not because you are lazy, but because you have no fear of time. Look into people's eyes not to intimidate, but to see them fully, without distraction. This is the art of presence. It is subtle, yet it transforms everything. What is fascinating is that people rarely describe it directly. They might say, "There's something about her," or "I don't know why, but I can't forget him." They might call it charisma, mystery, or magnetism, but those are only surface descriptions. The truth is that presence is felt on a level beyond words.